Imagine sitting at a round table where the future of business isn't some distant idea. It's right here, unfolding in front of us. Welcome back, listeners, to another interesting episode of the AIBiz Podcast. I'm your host, Sana, and today we are pulling up a chair with someone who knows what it means to start from nothing and build something extraordinary. Our guest, Adam Nager, once labeled a throwaway kid, turned his story into blueprint for success, serving over 3,000 clients, guiding 100 entrepreneurs to six-figure launches, and writing not one, but two best-selling books. And his journey is a proof that resilience isn't just about surviving, listeners. It's about rewriting the rules. But here's the twist. We're not just talking about business growth. We're diving into the messy, fascinating intersection of AI and the human touch. Yeah. Can we really rely on the machines to help us grow? Or do we risk losing the very humanity that makes businesses work? Well, this isn't a lecture, it's a conversation, listeners. And you are right here with us in the room. So let's lean in and get started. So, Adam, welcome to the show. And I'm really, really honored to have you here with us.
Thanks so much, Sunas. Great to be here. Great to have all the listeners here as well.
Super, super. Okay, Adam, starting with, of course, AI has a lot of benefits. It promises efficiency, it promises speed, and then cost savings as well. But when we talk about businesses, it's very fundamental to see that businesses are built on trust, connections, relationships, human connections. So where do you see the balance between automations which are driven by AI and the genuine, authentic human touch in business?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, in business in particular, you've got to build relationships, and customers are gonna look to you, whether you're selling a car or you're selling a product, service, etc. They're looking to you, and they're purchasing from you ultimately because they trust you, and trust is built through, I believe, at least over time, built through relationships, right? So, for me, it's building relationships, and how do you do that, and how do you leverage AI to help you through that process of building that relationship.
Hmm. Yeah, of course, of course. I think a lot of our listeners, including myself, we can feel the tension. Although AI makes things easier, but at the same time, it can sometimes make mistakes. But then customers, they don't just simply buy a product. They also, especially the today's generation, the young people, they buy into a story, into trust, and I think it's really interesting to see how we can navigate this push and pull here. And Adam, it could be a difficult question, but it is what it is. If you had to choose that you had to lean fully into AI or double down on human connection, which would you bet on for a long-term growth?
Right now, where we are, I think most people would agree. As recently, the executives in major billion-dollar companies have indicated the same. They're all in with AI. They're trying to see how AI can help them with
Yeah.
processes at every level. So, right now where we are today, I think AI is where it is. That being said, personally, I think that answer would have been far different just 3-4 years ago.
Hmm.
But today I definitely see it as AI, and I'm a relationship guy. But at the end of the day, I think that AI can oftentimes help build that relationship and trust, like you mentioned before, Suna. To be honest with you, so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, although I don't have a very in-depth knowledge around investing, but just from a customer perspective, or let's say if I want to be a part of a company, I wouldn't only just see how well updated there with AI, but I would also see the human connections in there because
Mm.
I think that's what is going to carry all of us for a long term growth and sustainability.
100%. Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think, you know, even in our businesses, today, you know, we run AIs, through automation, et cetera, to help build that communication quickly, with a potential customer, but it's quick to churn, from that AI into the human touch. In fact, you know, that's why I love this podcast and this topic, because, you know, we build things of, you know, AI with the human touch in our AI business, actually. So it's so important because AI can take over a lot of things and dehumanize things, oftentimes. And AI's, in my personal opinion, AI can be great, you know, to start leveraging, but at the end of the day, you've got to still have the human touch there to build relationship and show the true colors of an organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brilliant. Okay. And uh, and yeah, by the way, thank you so much for saying that, Adam, that you love the show. And of course, the topic, I think this is a very, very crucial need of the hour topic to talk about. And now coming to, your why to profits formula. The brilliant thing is it has launched six-figure businesses. So uh, could AI actually enhance that process? Or do you think it, increases the risk of flattening entrepreneurs into, just cookie cutter versions of business success?
That really good question. So I think it depends on the entrepreneur. I think it can go both ways, and in my experience, I've seen it go both ways. Um, you always have to. I always tell entrepreneurs that I work with, you have to set yourself apart. When I first got started in my first business in 2008, you know, there was plenty of competitors in the space that I was in. Um, and I realized then I had to set myself apart. People were doing the same thing. How was I going to be able to set myself apart? And so this is just another, I call it another wave. AI is a wave, basically. And so we're somewhere on that wave, whether it be at the top, at the breaking point of that wave, or at the bottom at the base. We're on another wave, with AI. And so we're just learning today, you know, how to ride it and how to utilize it. But for me, you know, it's important for us to always constantly figure out what's next. What are we doing to stand apart? AI can obviously, you know, you can duplicate a lot of things very, very quickly with AI, and a lot of businesses are naturally doing that. But I think it's really important to still stand as your own and unique value prop, from a sales standpoint, to your end customer. So, you know, identifying what you are, who you are, why you are, is key and critical, to that process, of standing apart and not getting gobbled up by, larger organizations.
True. Yeah. I think that's very well put, Adam. And any example have you seen, where someone misused AI and it actually hurt their brand or authenticity? I often look up, people talking about that, this ad or this video has been shot with AI. The visual effects have been done using AI. So it kind of, sometimes backfires, because although I think if you look at from a finance or budget perspective, I think AI in VFX, it really, you know, really, really helps in reducing the budgets down in there. But then at the other hand, it kind of, snatches away the authenticity. So that's where, the viewers or the consumers, they kind of, feel that, they are not in connection with that particular scene or that particular ad or video. So have you seen any example around, a
Yeah.
company or a brand?
Uh, I think it happens all the time in front of us, and sometimes we're just not tuned in enough to see it or realize it.
Mhm.
But for me, it's, that's the importance of blending AI with the human touch. And, if you're using an AI system to create an image or a video, et cetera, then not only reviewing it and auditing the outcome, but figuring out how to maybe make it a little bit more unique after it's done, by adding additional context or content, changing something like imagery, et cetera, on it, or just adding additional content to the post if you're creating a LinkedIn post like we do. It's just important to add that human element into it. But too many times you see companies that are posting, and you can tell that they're AI generated, right? And
They-
there's you can also see that there was no review. Um, and I use apps for capturing words and captions and stuff like that, and that's all AI produced. But if you don't review it manually before it gets published, you'll realize errors are very, very frequent in those. Um, and it just takes one impression, one wrong impression, to turn what should have been a good thing into a potentially very bad thing. Um, and it recently happened with, I think it happened with Budweiser recently, American brand, recently, and things spiraled out of control very, very quickly for them because, they allowed one person's perception to, influence, their entire business, and they lost a lot of shares, and a lot of shareholders because of it. A lot of people walked away from the brand because of it. And that's why it's important to also, have extra eyes on things and not just one set necessarily, and have multiple people's opinions in it. And AI can't provide really a humanized opinion, at least that I've seen today. So.
Yeah. Uh, and I think this is a real kind of fear in there. It's a real like a you know uh kind of red flag in there. Like we have seen all marketing and robotic emails, or as you mentioned, LinkedIn auto messages, and we can easily now make out whether it's written by a human, or just a chat GPT, or any other generative AI platform. uh, you know and they really feel off. And yet we have also seen how smart use of AI can spark creativity instead of killing it. So I think the line which we are drawing, that really matters here.
100%, 100%, and, some will cross that line, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and otherwise, others will stay on the right side. But you've got to draw the line, and I talk about this a lot when I'm coaching and consulting. Um,
Mhm.
but you've got to come up with your thresholds. And
Mm.
what is your threshold in business? What's your threshold in personal life? In a lot of things that you do, and setting that threshold for what you're willing to do with AI and what you're not willing to do it with I think is
Yeah,
important, for the listeners.
true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And now let's talk about a different perspective around AI. Now, uh, some would argue that it is overrated. It is just another trend, or that shiny thing on which everybody is trying to jump on, distracting everyone, especially leaders, from fundamentals, like PMF, or leadership, or grit, the basic fundamentals, which are timeless. So how would you respond to someone who says AI is more hype than hell?
Uh, I mean, for me, I think if somebody says that, they may be uneducated. They may not be aware of their surroundings in today's society, at least here in America. AI's got a component in a lot of things. I still see businesses, and I still consult with businesses, that are not deploying any AI. Uh, and at the end of the day, it being a hype or not, um, the only thing I would do is ask that person to potentially get some level of education, because at the end of the day, there are resources out there that can truly improve, I mean, your life, your business, your outlook, your knowledge base. That's like saying, a search engine is just hype. And thinking back to Google, the early days of Google and Yahoo, et cetera. And now look at them, some of the largest businesses in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think, you know, I mean, we are seeing kind of, uh, these, platforms like not only ChatGPT, but, they are kind of replacing the search engines. I mean, people are using it to, kind of have all information at one place instead of looking through multiple links and, going from page to page, page to page.
1,000%. Yeah. Yeah, 1,000%. And a lot of businesses are trying to now rank just as heavily on things like ChatGPT and other AI resources as they are in Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So it absolutely 100%. I do see that as an opportunity. I don't know where that's going to be long term.
Mhm.
But I do see that as an opportunity, because the hype is naturally around AI right now. So a lot of people are, opening up their browsers, right? And Chrome browsers or whatever Edge browser that they're using, and they're going right into ChatGPT instead of going to Google, and they're keeping ChatGPT open all day, whereas Google, they're just going in there once. And so, I think that's the reason, is it's more accessible. People are seeing it more, and so they're starting to use it more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think also every other automation tool which I'm looking at, whether it's ERP or it's any finance tool or CRMs, they have already started with AI integrations. Uh, for a better efficiency and more customer retention. So yeah, it's something which I believe it's a very good. This is the time when I think let's just seek the benefits of AI and try to blend in the human uh, not judgment but human capabilities in there to give out the best of the business or the plan or
100%
whatever
agree.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree.
Hmm. Now, um, before we wrap up, Adam, I think this is once again a bit difficult question. I don't know if I were in your place, what would I have answered, but you are the expert here. So let's do that. If we fast forward 10 years, I don't think 10 years, let's look at 5 years, Adam, because
Hmm.
now we are looking at technologies and advancements which are happening within the same year. It's not like that, we have the .com, we have the smartphones, then we have the iPhone, then we have the rich cams, and all within a span of 10 years or maybe 20 years. But if you fast forward 5 years, do you think AI will be remembered as the tool that humanized business or the one that made it colder?
I don't see it the way that it's going right now. Overall, broad stroke, I don't see it to be the one that's going to humanize business. That I don't.
Okay.
And that's why I think it's important for you to stand apart in your business, so that people can see you as your business and not see you as just, a number, basically, and one of many. So for me personally, that's what I see. I see AI taking away a little bit of that humanization opportunity. And
Mhm.
but it's in our hands. That's why I think this topic is so important. I think it's in our hands right now. We have the opportunity of making that decision. But a lot of us have to stand up together to say, hey, we're not going to just let AI take it and run this component of our business. We're going to still have interaction, and human interaction through that process. And you may be able to go from X number of resources to Y number of resources because you're utilizing AI, or you may be able to go from a 2-day turnaround to a 2-hour turnaround potentially because of using AI. But that doesn't mean you have to lose a human touch as you make that transition from 2 days to 2 hours.
Hmm. That's an interesting view. That's an interesting view, Adam. Um, yeah, and I think this really I know uh, makes a lot of sense because a lot of entrepreneurs who are tuning in, founders, they are resource conscious. They want growth, but they would also not want to gamble on every new tech trend. So I think your answer, it really gives a lot of clarity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a new thing popping up every day right now because of AI. That's the truth. There's a new app, there's a new opportunity, there's also new outcomes because of AI. I think literally every single day I see something that I didn't see before, and a lot of it I think is just created through AI, which is kind of funny. And you could chase those squirrels, or you could focus on making your product the best it can be, or your service, or your value to an organization. If you're an employee, your value to an employer, the best that it can be, while still utilizing the power of AI. So
Mm, true, true. Oh, brilliant, brilliant, Adam. So, yeah, if our listeners here they would like to connect with you and explore more about, share their opinions on this and explore more about your work, what would be the best way?
yeah, I'm on social media. Scaling with Adam is my tag on Instagram. You can also visit me online at adamnager.com to learn more about me and my businesses and how I provide guidance and consulting to 5, 6, and 7-figure entrepreneurs all throughout the United States. So anything I can do to help, I'd love to see how it could be of value.
Superb, superb. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes for all of you listeners for your easy reference. And Adam, thank you. Thank you so much. If I could understand, I could take one thing from this conversation. I think it's that, that the tools, they don't define us. The choices definitely do. AI might give us the shortcuts. They definitely do, but it's our human touch that creates that loyalty, that meaning, that trust. So, thank you so much, Adam, for sharing your insights and bringing in your expertise to really prove that no algorithm can replace resilience, courage, and the audacity to rewrite our narrative. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Suna. Pleasure.
Oh, so to all the listeners out there, as you get back to your business journey, just ask yourself, where do you want AI to accelerate you, and where do you want to slow down and connect? That's the real edge. So thank you to everyone for tuning into this episode, and until next time, keep questioning, keep experimenting, and remember, the future of business is human, even when it's powered by machines. Thank you.